Evening, jury. Last night, the president took the biggest stage American politics has, a primetime address, to tell you an election crime story. China, he said, pulled off the largest data heist in election history. Tonight, we do what this desk always does with a primetime claim. We walk it into the daylight and see what survives. Because the scariest sentence in that speech has a hedge built into it, and the scariest number in it mostly describes the phone book. The charges, exactly as spoken. Beginning in 2020, China, quote, carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. He called it an unprecedented election security nightmare, citing newly declassified documents, and said the files include names, addresses, phone numbers, and party preferences. Note the load-bearing words inside his own sentence, jury. What is believed to be. Hold them. We will come back for them. Exhibit A. What a voter file actually is. It is your name, your address, your party registration, whether you voted, not how. In most states, much of that is public record by law, and campaigns, parties, and data brokers buy it in bulk every single cycle. That is why the word heist needs a squint. And here's the part the speech never says out loud. A voter file has no wires into a voting machine. Possessing 220 million of them cannot cast one ballot, change one ballot, or count one ballot. Exhibit B. The government's own assessment. The declassified intelligence review of the 2020 election, the very documents the speech leans on, found that China did not attempt to interfere with the technical aspects of the election, not vote counting, not the casting of ballots, and that finding held, as reported, even for the one official who dissented on China's broader intent. The president offered no evidence last night that a single vote was altered because the record contains none. The heist, whatever it was, never touched the count. Now watch what rode in with the heist story, because a primetime address never carries just one package. The president also announced that a Homeland Security review found roughly 278,000 non-citizens registered to vote. David Becker, who runs the Center for Election Innovation and Research and has spent decades in this field, answered within hours. Take that with a great big grain of salt, because the administration has not shown its work at all. It is built, he said, on commercial data that cannot be used this way, and it is going to create a ton of false positives. Cross-examination, and I will give the speech its strongest form. If a foreign intelligence service really did aggregate the personal data of 220 million Americans, that is a genuine espionage story. It matters for targeting, for influence operations, for blackmail, for knowing which doors to knock on with which lies. Nobody at this desk shrugs at that, and a serious address about data security would deserve a serious hearing. But that is a spying problem. The speech sold it as a voting problem, and the government's own record refuses to back that sale. So who benefits from the nightmare framing? Follow the sequence. A court just permanently blocked key parts of the administration's first anti-voting executive order. The infrastructure for round 2 needs a crisis, and elections compromised by China is a crisis on demand. If the public believes the 2020 files were a heist, and the rolls are stuffed with 278,000 phantom non-citizens, then proof of citizenship rules, purges, and federal control of state rolls stop sounding like restrictions and start sounding like rescue. The nightmare is not the finding, the nightmare is the pitch. And the cost lands on the count itself. Trust in the tally is the load-bearing wall of everything else we do as a country, and it does not break from foreign hacking, jury. It breaks from being told, from the tallest podium in the land, that it is already broken. Every election official who has to answer for a nightmare that the intelligence record says never touched a ballot, every voter who walks away half sure their vote no longer counts, is paying the bill for last night's television. The verdict? Misleading. And strategically so. The files are real and mostly public. The espionage concern is real and worth a serious answer. The heist of your election is the part the record rejects. No vote cast, no vote changed, no vote counted by Beijing, by the government's own declassified assessment. So keep the two sentences separate, jury, and repeat the second one to anyone who needs it. A voter file can tell them who you are. It cannot cast your ballot. Court is adjourned. I'm Madeline, and this is Pixel Politics.